The John Morris Show, episode 92.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Hey there, my name's John Morris. I'm a former U.S. Army veteran turned freelance web developer. And my goal for you at this podcast is twofold. First, I want to help you learn how to code. Second, I want to help you turn that code into a full-time living. Because if you're like me, what you want is the freedom, the satisfaction, and the income that you get from being a high-profile web developer. So if that's you, be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, or YouTube so you never miss an episode. You can find all my past episodes and get subscribed at johnmorrisonline.com/John Morris Show. Also, as you get value from the show, consider becoming a supporting listener on Patreon because you'll help keep the show free for everyone and you'll get access to exclusive courses, source code, and Q&A sessions available only to supporting listeners. Visit johnmorrisonline.com/Patreon, that's Patreon, to become a supporting listener. All right, let's get into this episode. Hey everybody, welcome back to the John Morris Show, johnmorrisonline.com. This episode, I want to get into the recent changes that Upwork has made to its pricing model because I've been getting a lot of people asking me about this, and I was kind of busy with some other things and have some time, but I wanted to get in and actually read what's going on and get the real truth about it, and before I was able to give my comment on it. So I know this happened probably a little while ago, but just getting around to doing a video on this. So my general thoughts on this, just if you want to get it succinct and get the Cliff's Notes version, nobody owes you anything. And that's it. Period. So if you're not familiar with what's going on and haven't heard about this, Upwork just changed the fees it's charging to freelancers. And it moved from a flat fee of 10% of whatever the project is to a sliding fee structure that looks a little bit like this. So for the first $500 of lifetime client earnings, so this is lifetime earnings for each client that you work with. So the first $500 is now 20%. And then from $500 to $10,000 is 10%. And then $10,000 above, they're charging 5%. So on the front end, they take more, and on the back end, they take less. Okay, essentially how it works. And boy, oh boy, did that make the kids angry. And I actually had someone who emailed me about this who had written an article on it and taken a survey. I'm not going to link to it because I think it's already ridiculous enough. But I went over there and took a look at what they had sent. And these were some of the comments that people were leaving on this survey. Apparently, this article had been featured in Forbes and so forth. So these are some of the comments that these people are making. Go hang yourself. I hope all your people leave and you are dead. Actual comment left on the survey. You evil. And then I think the word is stop, although it's spelled funny. This is the worst policy any marketplace has ever taken. Moderate your greed. Stop this greed. In fact, the most sane comment of all of them, and I honestly don't think this person, I don't know if they really realized what they were saying. I think they're trying to be snarky and funny, but it was actually the most sane piece of advice on there, which was time to collect personal clients. Gee, you think? Now, the funny thing is, everybody who asked me about this via email and so forth, all the emails I got, etc., all they told me was that Upwork raised their fee to 20%. So when I first started getting into this, I thought Upwork just raised its price to 20%. Although I did have a little hunch that there was probably more to the story because there usually is. And so I thought, I was kind of thinking in my head why they might have done that. Usually it comes down to the fact that they just have to keep the company in business. I find it interesting that whenever someone raises their prices, the conversation automatically goes to, well, it has to be greed. Having worked for companies who've had to do price increases like that, every time that it's happened for the companies I've worked for that it happened with, it was because they were actually losing money and they had to in order to keep the business going. Now, I don't know if that's the case with Upwork. Who knows? But it's not automatic that when someone raises their price, it's because of greed. Oftentimes it's because they have to. So again, a lot of people just told me it's 20%. They conveniently forgot to mention the rest of the fee structure, which should tell you something about their approach to freelancing. So, like I said, my opinion, nobody owes you anything. Look, Upwork offers a service for freelancers and clients. You don't have to join Upwork. So they're absolutely within their right to change their pricing, even if it were to something terrible. They're providing you a service, and if you're not getting the value out of it that makes that pricing worth it, then why be on there? So if you don't like it, don't use it. And you're not going to get any sympathy from me as you whine going out the door. Just leave. If you don't like it, leave, and you don't need to throw a hissy fit as you leave. But the thing is, I don't think it's terrible. I actually think it's a good idea. Now, I know for me, when I was on there, if this had been in place, the majority, I might have one. There's one in my mind I'm questioning because I think I worked with somebody once and never again. But even that one, I think, was close. But every one of the clients I worked with would have very, very quickly moved past that $500 range. And I would have been excited about the 5% on the top end. I would have been excited about getting to that point. Because a lot of my projects, or a lot of the clients I worked with, were pushing that or could have pushed that or were above that. So for me, I'm not thinking about the bottom end. So Upwork gets an extra $50. Because if you think about it, the raise from 10% to 20% on the first 500 amounts to $50. I could care less about that $50. I'm not thinking in terms of $50. I'm thinking in terms of tens of thousands of dollars. So if they need 50 extra bucks to make sure they can stay in business and keep providing the service that they want, heck, even if the 50 extra bucks is greed, I don't care. I don't. That's not what I'm worried about. So if that's what they need, if that's what they feel like they want to do, so be it. My mind is so far from thinking about that first $500, I could really care less. And I think that you listening to this should actually be excited about this. Because if you've been listening to anything that I've been saying, this should actually be welcome news. Because to me, it seems like this is clearly aimed at the lowballers, the people that, a lot of you also complained to me about. This is aimed at them and causing them to leave. And the people I'm talking about, the developers that just go around lowballing project after project, right? They go and they bid, $5 on a project or whatever, $5 an hour on some sort of huge, massive I mean, you've seen it. I know you've seen it. Where you've looked at projects and you've seen someone bidding on there and you're like, how in the world can they afford to do that? This is aimed at getting rid of those people. Because all they do is they go around, they lowball project after project. They give terrible service. So they'll usually only get that client once. They'll probably never get repeat business from that client. So their lifetime earnings with that client likely will never break $500. And then they'll just move on to the next person that they can lure in with the low price. That's their game. These are the people that copy and paste their bids in. These are the people that go around and lowball. These are the people that, submit 100 bids a day. These are the people that we all cannot stand and want off of the site. So this should be welcome news. So if those people are angry and they vow to leave Upwork, good. I mean, I might even jump back on if they really do. But I think we all know they won't. And that's because they don't have anywhere else to go. They don't have a long-term mindset, so they're not building a real business. They're not thinking long-term about building up clientele. That's the whole point of this. It's everything I've been telling you. Think long-term. Build relationships with clients. You should very, very quickly move past that $500 range. Your eyes should not be on that first $500. It should be on that second 10,000. 10, 20, 30. That's where your eyes should be. That's where you should be pushing towards. And 5% at that range, that adds up quick. You'll very, very quickly earn back that $50 if you just put in the time and effort to get there with your clients. I get it. Not every client you can do that with. I understand. But to freak out about the extra 10% at the $500 level, having to pay an extra $50, it makes 0 sense. It doesn't make any sense just in general, and it doesn't make any sense for you trying to build an actual business as a freelance developer. So I tell you this all the time. Go get your own clients. Do not rely on Upwork or whatever other site to bring you all your business. Yes, they can be a good stepping stone. They can even be used long term as a source, for extra cash or whatever, for extra business when there's a lull and so forth. But that should not be your primary objective. Your primary objective should not be to have a business 10 years from now that dominates Upwork. It should be to have your own clientele base coming from your own website, and Upwork can be a stepping stone to that. But you absolutely do not want to rely on them for all your business, because when they make changes like this, it hits you, it affects you, and you're at their mercy. So why do that? Now, I get accused of being too hard on developers and freelancers at times. So I don't want to leave on this kind of angry note. Right? I understand it's a process and you got to get there. But keeping your eyes, it's just like I said before, keeping your eyes focused on that first $500, I'm telling you, it's the wrong approach. You should be focused on that $10,000 level. And you can get there. Sometimes I think that's the thing. People don't believe that they can get there. They don't believe in themselves. And so they think that they're relegated to that $500 level. And as long as you continue thinking that, you'll stay there. But look, I'm no genius. I promise you, I'm not that smart. I don't have any I didn't grow up in some special environment. I didn't have some sort of special teaching. If I can do this, anybody can do it. So quit worrying about that first $500. Start worrying about that next $10,000. Keep your eyes there. And understand that for you at that level, this is a benefit. This is good. Let's get rid of the lowballers. Like I said, I might actually jump back on there if this actually works. Although I don't think it will. But so again, you can do it. You just got to keep plugging away at it. So there is a way out of all of this. And there's a way to build a freelance business. Not some fly by your seat of the pants, whine when Upwork changes wannabe business, an actual freelance business. Where if Upwork makes a change, oh well. And I teach you, it's a system. It's a system for consistently getting clients. Month after month after month, coming to you. Not you chasing them down on Upwork or Freelancer or wherever else. Them coming to you. The majority of the projects I did on Elance were people who contacted me through my website, and I had them go over to Elance and create an invite-only project where I was the only one invited to that project. That's the scenario you want to be in. So I teach this system, this 3-part system, in Module 3 of my course, Lightning Responsive, which I released a few years ago, sold for $297, I believe. You can get access to that course over on Patreon as a supporting listener at the $10 level. So this 3-part step-by-step system that sold for $297 just a few years ago, you can get for $10 over on Patreon. Seems like a no-brainer to me. You can check it out at johnmorrisonline.com/Patreon. All right, everybody, thanks for listening. If you like this episode, be sure to like it so I know you like this kind of content. If you've seen someone out there whining about this stuff or you think would benefit from hearing this, I'd appreciate if you'd share it with them. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Like I said, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time.